the all-time scorer in UH history, and he shares the record for the longest field goal in NFL history. Jason Elam, one of the best kickers anywhere, ever, will retire as a Denver Bronco. Elam is signing a one-day contract with the Broncos so he can be in the orange and blue when he retires tomorrow. Elam played 17 NFL seasons, the first 15 in the Mile High City, the last 2 with the Atlanta Falcons. In 1998, he booted a 63-yarder, tying Tom Dempsey's NFL record. As a Rainbow, Elam kicked a school record 56-yarder and still holds the school record with 395 points scored. The 2010 UH football team opens spring practice tomorrow. Coach Greg McMackin says every starting position is up for grabs. That seems especially true at linebacker, where Hawaii has lost Blaise Soares, who was an all-WAC performer. R.J. Kiesel-Kauhane, who led the Warriors in tackles for loss, is also gone. McMackin is hoping to fill the void with the return of Brashton Satele. Satele missed all of last season with an injured shoulder. He's applied for a medical redshirt that would allow him to play again this year. But Satele redshirted back in 2005, and there are no guarantees he'll be granted a 6th year of eligibility.
I'm really anxious to find out from the NCAA if Brashton can come back. If he comes back, we're sitting good at linebacker. He's an outstanding middle linebacker. He's a leader. He brings it all to the table.
Former UH quarterback Greg Alexander was also injured during his senior year, but he's not trying to come back to the Warriors. He's got his sights set on the NFL. Mike Cherry reports.
In the blink of an eye, UH quarterback Greg Alexander saw his college career come to an end in Ruston, Louisiana last season. This hit on the sideline would be the last Alexander would take in a UH uniform.
I figured I tore something. I heard the pop, and so just hoping it was, minor, maybe just ACL or the MCL or whatnot. And then, I got on the cart and my whole kneecap fell to the side of my knee, and so I was like, that's not good.
These days, the former Warrior, who once relished his 2-a-day practices, puts his body through a different kind of challenge: marathon physical therapy sessions. Alexander's toughest battle now comes from within.
I think mentally it's harder. Physically it's pretty painful sometimes. And knowing that you're limited in your, what you're able to do, and trying to get back to where you were. So you just got to get in here and do it, and know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Recovery hasn't come as quickly as Greg would have liked. Infections and his unique body have made sure of that. His latest hurdle forced doctors to remove bone that had calcified around his knee. With 6 surgeries behind him and 1 or 2 more to go, Greg's become a shell of his playing days.
I was about 230, probably about 200 now. Yeah, the hospital fee's not very good, so I dropped a little bit of weight.
He's skinny now, but he still has that heart that he has, and I really sincerely believe if things go the way that I expect for him because of his attitude, that he'll get a shot in the NFL.
And that's all Alexander can think about during rehab. If his body cooperates, Greg says he'll begin to throw again in July. Then he'll try to impress NFL scouts on Hawaii's Pro Day in 2011. Mike Cherry, Hawaii News Now.
Looking at your roster, that potentially could be 17 returning starters.
Well, there's a lot of guys that got playing time last year. We have some guys that have been on the field and have earned our confidence, and that'll be good for us.
I hope you're all having a pleasant evening. UH football team kicks off spring practice tomorrow morning, and the Warriors' offense gives good reason for high expectations. 437.5 yards per game was 3rd in the WAC, 14th in the country last season. Passing game produced 337 yards per outing, number 3 in the nation. But OC Nick Rolovich is keyed on improving scoring. 22.8-point average last season, ranked 89th.
We have to score, and that's what we're working on this spring. We're working, like I said, we're going to scrimmage. After every practice, we're going to scrimmage inside the 25 and get that worked out.
Senior slot back Greg Salas heads a list of Warrior weapons on offense. 106 catches, ranked 6th in the nation last season. 1,590 yards, was 4th best in the country. Salas scored 8 touchdowns in 2009 and set a school record with 16 receptions versus New Mexico State. And 17 of his catches last season for good for 25 yards or more.
Greg Salas had a breakout season last year. If there's anybody that has more depth in their receiving core, they're going to be a good receiving core. I'm real excited about our receiving core.
Is also expected from this trio. Junior Kealoha Polaris made 66 catches in 2009. Rodney Bradley scored 5 touchdowns before a knee injury ended his junior season. And Alex Green's the top returning rusher, logging 453 yards as a junior. And junior quarterback Bryant Moniz returns. Walk-on from Lelehua made 8 starts following a season-ending knee injury to Greg Alexander, throwing for 2,396 yards and 14 TDs. Dave Aranda, new defensive coordinator at UH, Warriors 93rd in the country last season, allowing 404.5 yards per game, 90th in scoring, giving up almost 30 points per game. Guys like junior defensive tackle Von Meatonga, along with senior safeties Mana Silva and Spencer Smith, helped to better those numbers. Former UH kicker Jason Elam, now 40 years old, after 17 seasons in the NFL, announced his retirement today.
Jason Elam for the 44-yard attempt.
It'll be official tomorrow. Elam is signing a 1-year deal with Denver, then retiring as a Bronco, team he played for 15 years before joining the Falcons. Elam might be a future Hall of Famer. 1,983 points is 6th best all-time in the league. 81% field goal kicker, only missed 4 extra points in his career. 39 of 65 from 50 yards or more. He tied Tom Dempsey's NFL record, converting from 63 yards. Awesome career after that win at the Holiday Bowl with that 1992 team.
Great player.
Yep.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Let's talk sports. After enjoying one of the most successful college/pro careers of any UH football player, kicker Jason Elam has decided to retire, and he will do so as a Denver Bronco. The 40-year-old remains the all-time leading scorer in Hawaii football history and went on to play 17 years in the NFL. 15 of those were spent with the Broncos, where Elam was in on 2 Super Bowl titles. The man with a cannon for a leg was a 3-time Pro Bowler and currently ranks 6th in NFL history with 1,983 points. He also shares the league record with Tom Dempsey for longest field goal of 63 yards. Elam, who grew up in Georgia, played for Atlanta the last 2 seasons before getting released by the Falcons back in December. He will sign a 1-day contract with Denver to effectively retire as a Bronco. Elam will make a formal announcement at a Denver press conference tomorrow. Meanwhile, the current UH Warrior football team will open spring practice tomorrow. Hawaii lost 10 starters from a season ago, 6 on offense, including 4 O-linemen and 4 on defense. Among the key returnees, quarterback Bryant Moniz, who heads into the spring listed #1 on the depth chart, receiver Greg Salas, who caught 100 passes last year, and defensive back Mana Silva, who racked up 6 interceptions in 2009. Still, head coach Greg McMackin says no positions are locked up despite the current look of the depth chart.
We have a starting point. To line up, you have to have a starting point as a depth chart, but every position is open. Competition is what makes you better as a football team. What we want to do is the first 2 weeks, we want to look at everybody and see that they're playing the proper positions. We also want to work on fundamentals. We want to get our base packages in for everybody the first 2 weeks. Then the second 2 weeks, what we want to do is we want to kick over into putting new things in. We're going to need a lot of depth. You know, we don't want to go through what we did last year. A guy gets hurt and now we're scrambling again.
Spring practice will run through April 30th, ending with the annual Warrior Bowl intra-squad scrimmage on the T.C. Ching practice field at UH.